Good morning, everyone. This is SMD Mazharul Haq, Assistant Professor, Triple Department, IS Engineering College. I am doing the subject Electrical Measurements and Instrumentation, and today our topic is dynamometer type instruments. And we will study here about dynamometer type instruments here. To start now, a dynamometer or electromagnetic moving coil instrument, also called as EMMC instrument, is having the structure like this. So you can see here you are having a scale drawn here and a pointer, and this is called as the jeweled bearing, and this bearing, and this is a shaft here. The shaft is kept like this and it is being held tight so that it cannot move, and you are having a moving coil. You are having a moving coil here, and this is the balance weight. This is the fixed coil F1 and F2. So this is the constructional structure where you are having this moving coil, as well as you are having the jeweled bearing, the balanced weight, and the scale, pointer, and fixed coil. These are the components that are present in the dynamometer type of instrument. Now let us see what is the operation of this dynamometer type or electromagnetic moving coil instrument or EMMC instrument. This instrument can be used for measurement of voltage, current, and power. The difference between the PMMC and dynamometer type instrument is that the permanent magnet is replaced by an electromagnet. So, okay, the PMMC and dynamometer type instrument, the difference is the permanent magnet is replaced by a electromagnet here. So, a fixed coil is divided into two equal halves. So, the construction here goes like this. A fixed coil is divided into two equal halves. The moving coil is placed between the two halves of the fixed coil. So both the fixed and moving coils are air cooled so that the hysteresis effect will be zero here. So the pointer is attached with the spindle also. You can see in the figure that the pointer attached with the spindle, and you are having fixed coils and a moving coil also here. You can observe this figure. The pointer is attached with the spindle in a non-metallic former. The moving coil is wounded. So we are keeping a metallic former. In the metallic former, the moving coil is wounded and kept in between these fixed coils. So the control, how the control is achieved, as we already spoke about the spring control in these particular things. The spring control is used for the control of the pointer or to control the readings of the particular meter. Now the damping is also required, as we said that it requires the control and it requires the damping also. So damping, what type of damping is used here? Air friction damping is used. We have discussed about the spring controls and the damping methods in the earlier classes. Now coming to the principle of operation, when the current flows through the fixed coil, it produces a magnetic field whose flux density is proportional to the current through the fixed coil. So the moving coil is kept in between the fixed coil. When the current passes through the moving coil, a magnetic field is produced by this coil. So the magnetic poles are produced in such a way that the torque produced in the moving coil deflects the pointer over the calibrated scale. This instrument works on AC and DC. When AC voltage is applied, alternating current flows to the fixed coil and moving coil. When the current in the fixed coil reverses, the current in the moving coil also reverses, and torque remains in the same direction. So here the principle of operation: when the current flows through fixed coil, it is produce a magnetic field, and if magnetic field is produced, the flux density is proportional to the current through the fixed coil. The moving coil is kept in between the fixed coil, and when the current passes through the moving coil, a magnetic field is produced by this particular moving coil. So the magnetic poles are produced in such a way that the torque produced on the moving coil deflects the pointer over calibrated scale. So we can see that it works for AC and as well as DC also. So we will discuss here about the torque developed by a EMMC instrument. Here if you see the figure, you are seeing a figure which is having coils F1 and F2, or we can say it is a inductance L1 shown here. With the help of this diagram, we are treating this electrical network. We are drawing electrical circuit for that particular meter, dynamometer type instrument, and this is a moving coil. It is called also inductance L2. So coil nothing but inductance is here. So what is the torque developed by the EMMC instrument? We are finding out what is the torque developed now. Now let L1 is equal to self-inductance of the fixed coil and L2 is equal to self-inductance of the moving coil. Now M is the mutual inductance between fixed coil and moving coil, where it is represented like this, that M is the mutual inductance between fixed coil and that is a mutual inductance between L1 and L2. Now I1 is equals to current through fixed coil, I2 is current through the moving coil, and total inductance of system is given by the formula L total is equals to L1 plus L2 plus 2M. But we know that in case of MI instruments, what happens is TD is equals to half I square into DL by d theta. So as we said that TD is equals to half I square into DL by d theta, where L is equals to L1 plus L2 plus 2M. We are writing the same thing here in the torque equation, in the equation 1.35, and the value of L1 and L2 are independent of theta, but M varies with theta here. Therefore deflecting torque TD is equals to half I square into 2 into dm by d theta. So if you are making this with the help of the derivation, it is becoming TD is equals to half I square into 2 into dm by d theta in the equation 1.36. Now if you see this equation, 2 gets cancelled and remaining is I square into dm by d theta. If the coils are not connected in series, I1 is not equal to I2, so current will not be the same. So TD is equals to I1 I2 into dm by d theta now. So you can understand, students, here that torque is I1 I2 into dm by d theta. Why? Because in the parallel only the currents will be different. If TC is equal to TD, then only the equilibrium stage is achieved. So here theta is equals to I1 I2 into dm divided by k into d theta. Hence the deflection of pointer is proportional to the current passing through the fixed coil and moving coil. So we can understand by this that theta is the deflection, and here it is proportional to the current I1 and I2. That is, I1 is through fixed coil and I2 is through the through the moving coil. So theta is proportional to I1 and I2 respectively. Now we come to a topic called as extension. What is extension? Extension means that if you want a meter to get the extra readings from it, or you want to make the range of the meter to be somewhat more, then you can do this thing, extension of this measuring instruments you can do. So let us see what is that. So instrument case 1, we see ammeter connection. Now the fixed coil and moving coil are connected in parallel for ammeter connection. So you can see that fixed coil and moving coil are connected in parallel for ammeter connection. The coils are designed such that the resistance of each branch is same. Therefore, if the resistance is same, I1 is equals to I2 is equals to I. So if you see this diagram, you can understand that the fixed coil and moving coil are parallel to each other. It is a load, and this is the ISH, that is also the resistance RSH is there. So please remember this diagram. In this diagram, you can understand how the connections of the moving coil and the fixed coil are given in the EMMC instruments. To extend the range of current, a shunt may be connected in parallel with meter. The value RSH is designed such that the equal current flows through the moving coil and the fixed coil. So if you see here, RSH is designed such that the ISH is flowing through this RSH, as well as I1 I2 flowing through moving coil and fixed coils. So TD is equals to I1 I2 dm by theta. This is the formula there, and TD is equals to I square and dm by theta also you can write. So TC is equals to K into theta. Therefore theta is equals to I square into dm by K theta. That is the same thing that we are writing again, that theta is proportional to the current here. So how to extend? How to make the extension? So here we got a conclusion that theta is proportional to I square. That the scale is not uniform because theta is proportional to I, but it is proportional to I square. Therefore scale is not uniform here. Now we come to the case 2, that is a voltmeter connection. The fixed coil and the moving coil are connected in series for voltmeter connection. A multiplier may be connected in series to extend the range of the voltmeter. So you can see here, voltage measuring instruments, they are keeping this all these things in series, as well as we are measuring the voltage V1 and V2, and total voltage is V here. So like this, there are some instruments that are to be made such that we can extend the range of the ammeter or voltmeter. So I1 is equals to V1 by Z1, I2 is equals to V2 by Z2. Now TD is equals to, if you write that one, in the form of I1 and I2 in place of V1 by Z1, then if you substitute in the 1.48 equation like this, then you get Td is proportional to V square, that is scale is not uniform again. So like this you are having the fixed coil, current coil, and you are having the fixed coil, that is this is the current coil, and this is the moving coil here connected with the resistance. So we got the error in the MI instrument now. So we have been making the extensions also, how to make the extensions, and some problems will be given on the extension, how to extend the particular range of the ammeter or voltmeter. That is some resistance should be added, and we have after writing the adding the resistance, we can make this particular thing, and we will calculate this based on the formula and write the how much resistance should be added to make the extension of ammeter or voltmeter possible. Now we will talk about the error in MI instruments. The temperature error. What is the temperature error? Due to the temperature variation, the resistance of coil varies, and this affects the deflection of the instrument. The coil should be made of manganese metal so that the resistance is almost constant. And next is hysteresis error. Due to hysteresis effect, the reading of instrument will not be correct, and when the current is decreasing, the flux produced will not decrease suddenly. Due to this, the meter reads a higher value of current. Similarly, when the current increases, the meter reads a low value of current. This produces error in deflection. So this error can be eliminated using small iron parts with narrow hysteresis loop so that the demagnetization takes place very quickly. So this is the hysteresis error, and eddy current error is nothing but the eddy current induced in the moving iron affects the deflection. As we already known here that the eddy current produced in the moving iron affects the deflection. This error can be reduced by increasing the resistance of the iron. What is a stray field error? Stray field error, since the operating field is weak, the effect of stray field is very more. Due to this, error is produced in deflection, and this can be limited by a shielding the parts of the instrument. So stray field error is nothing but the operating field is weak, the effect of stray field is also more. Now frequency error. What is a frequency error? When the frequency changes, the reactance of the coil also changes. If you see this diagram, you understand that Z is equals to Rm plus Rs whole square plus XL square. This is equal, I is equal to V by Z, and V by Z nothing but Rm plus Rs square plus XL square. So like this, what happens is you will be having a frequency error also caused in the measurement of current when the frequency or the reactance changes. The frequency changes, the reactance also changes here. So deflection of moving iron voltmeter depends upon the current to the coil. Therefore, the deflection for a given voltage will be less at higher frequency than a lower frequency. A capacitor is connected in parallel with multiplier resistance. Net reactance XL minus XC is very small when compared to series resistance. Thus, the circuit impedance is made independent of frequency, and this is because the circuit is almost resistive only. And we will talk about the electrostatic instrument now. In multicellular construction, several vannes and quadrants are provided. The voltage is to be measured is applied between the vanes and quadrant. The force of attraction between the vanes and the quadrant produces a deflecting torque, and controlling torque is produced by spring control, and the air friction damping is used in the electrostatic instruments. The instrument is generally used for measuring medium and high voltages. As we seen that these type of measurement in electrostatic instruments use the measuring in medium is generally used for measuring medium and high voltage. The voltage is reduced to low value by using capacitor potential divider, and the force of the attraction is proportional to the square of the voltage in the electrostatic instruments. So if you see the figure here, you are having here, this is given that this is the vanes and this is fixed one. So vanes are inserted like this. So everything is the same, that is it is having a scale, a pointer, air friction damping is used, and the control springs are there. These things are common, same as the EMMC instruments. For electrostatic instruments we are having like this. Okay, so see this figure carefully, that this is the vanes, they are inserted. So the voltage is to be measured is applied between the vanes and quadrant. So you see this quadrant as well as this is the vanes, the force is applied here, as well as if the force is applied here, the attraction will takes place here, and you will find the deflecting torque. So what happens to produce deflecting torque means the force of attraction between the vanes and the quadrant produces deflecting torque here. This one, these vanes and this quadrant force of attraction will cause the deflection to take place here in the scale. Okay, and damping is provided by the air friction damping, and the control is provided by the control spring here. Discuss about the torque developed by electrostatic instruments. If V is voltage applied between vane and quadrant, then the C is the capacitance between the vane and the quadrant. Then energy stored will be given as half CV square. So let theta be the deflection corresponding to a voltage V. Now, if the theta is a deflection corresponding to voltage V, then let the voltage increase by some dV, and the corresponding deflection will be raised by theta plus d theta. Then when the voltage is being increased, a capacitive current flows in it. Therefore, I is equal to dq by dt, whereas q is equal to cv. D into cv by dt is equal to d into cv by dt plus c into dv by dt. We are applying the rule here, d by dt of cv, that is the d by dt of uv method. So by multiplying v into dt by on both sides of the equation, this equation 1.74, what we get here is, we will get the equation here, Vi into dt is equals to dc by dt into v square dt plus cv into dv by dt of dt. Now if you make this a shorter one, you will get Vi into dt is equals to v square dc plus cv into dv. Now the change in the stored energy is also to be calculated. So the change in stored energy is given by half c plus dc into v plus dv whole square minus half cv square. After writing this equation comes to the form of this 1.78 equation, v square into dc plus cv into dv is equals to half v square dc plus cv dv plus f into r d theta. Here td into d theta is equals to half v square dc. Therefore, deflecting torque is equals to half v square into dc by d theta. And therefore, at the steady state condition, that is td is equals to tc, k theta is equals to half v square into dc by d theta, and therefore theta is equals to 1 by 2k v square into dc by d theta. This equation represents the deflection. Now we will come to the advantages. Here the advantages of these EMMC instruments are, it is used in both AC and DC, and there is no frequency error, there is no hysteresis error, and there is no stray magnetic field error because the instrument works on the electrostatic principle, and it is used for high voltage and power consumption is negligible. What are the disadvantages then? The disadvantages are scale is not uniform, large in size, and the cost is also more. Now what you are going to do is the multi-range ammeter. We are talking about the multi-range ammeter. When the switch is connected to position 1, where is the position 1 here? Here the position 1 is there. When the switch is connected to position 1, the supplied current is I1. Okay. So ISH1 RH1 is equals to IM RM. By this diagram you can write ISH1 RH1 is equals to IM into RM. Where is IM into RM? This one is IM into RM, because here the voltages will be the same as we have known about that one. So I into RH is equals to the voltage, and IM RM is also the voltage. So RSH1 is equals to IM RM divided by SH1, that is equals to IM RM by I1 minus IM also can be written. What is ISH1? It is I1 minus IM only. You can see this figure, I1 minus IM is equals to ISH1, right? Because this is also flowing in this way and this is also flowing, and this is nothing but the difference of both. After getting RSH1 is equals to RM by I1 by IM minus 1. Why? Because you are sending this IM dividing by IM on both sides, numerator and denominator. You are getting this one, and this is RSH1 is equals to RM by M1 minus 1, and therefore RSH2 is equals to RM by M2 minus 1, that is equals to M2 is equals to I2 by IM. And here RSH3 is in a similar way is equals to RM by M3 minus 1, and M3 is equals to I3 by IM. And RSH4 is equals to RM by M4 minus 1, and M4 is equals to I4 by IM. From this circuit only we are trying to make this formulas. So after getting this, what you are having here is this particular thing corresponds to the resistance RS1, RSH2, RSH3 and RSH4. So we are calculating the resistances in this way by where M1 is the multiplying power of the shunt, or you can say multiplier. M1 is the multiplier here. Okay, and here RSH1 is equals to RS1 is equals to Rm into M1 minus M, and RS2 is equal to Rm into M2 minus 1, and RS3 is equals to Rm into M3 minus 1 here. M1 is equals to V1 by Vm, M2 is equals to V2 by Vm, and M3 is equals to V3 by Vn. So we can obtain different voltage ranges by connecting different value of multiplier resistor in the series with the meter. This one is connecting the series with the meter here. The number of the resistors is equal to the number of ranges required. Okay, we can connect this resistance to this Rm, and we can connect this RS2, and we connect this RS3 also. So we can increase the range of this particular ammeter by just multiplying the resistor. Okay students, in this lecture we have discussed about this particular multiplier, and also we have discussed about the shunt and how to add this shunt there. We have discussed, also we have discussed about the this torque development in the electromagnetic instruments, and also we have seen about the different types of resistance that are to be added. So we have discussed these electrostatic instruments also, and thought developed by it also. So we will be discussing about the different topics in the next class. Thank you students.